Jay-Z and Beyoncé have ruled the music industry for years. They've been called icons, moguls, and even royalty. But now, 50 Cent and Eminem are speaking out, and they're not holding anything back. According to them, the Carters didn't just rise to the top with talent. They may have done it by blocking other artists, rigging award shows, and using their influence to stay in control. What used to be whispered in private is now being said out loud. Cent says Jay-Z tried to stop him from performing at the Super Bowl by using his NFL connections behind the scenes. Eminem backed 50 and told the league, "No 50, no Slim Shady." That move alone exposed just how far Jay might go to stay in the spotlight, but it doesn't stop there. Both 50 and Eminem are calling out the Grammys, accusing them of being rigged. They say awards don't go to the best artists, they go to the most connected. And Jay and Beyoncé? According to them, they've been playing the system for years. There are also serious allegations from other artists, especially women. Some say their careers were cut short after crossing paths with Beyoncé. Others say they were blackballed, threatened, or silenced. Even Jay-Z's former bodyguard and background singers have gone public with claims that the Carters destroyed lives just to protect their image. And now, all the stories are starting to line up. This video breaks down exactly what 50 Cent and Eminem are exposing and how deep the alleged manipulation really goes. The question isn't whether Jay-Z and Beyoncé are powerful. Everyone knows they are. The real question is, what did they do with that power? In 2022, hip-hop history was made when Dr. Dre, Eminem, Snoop Dogg, Mary J. Blige, Kendrick Lamar, and 50 Cent took over the Super Bowl halftime show. It was a major moment for the culture, but behind the scenes, it nearly didn't happen the way we saw it. According to 50 Cent, someone powerful tried to block his performance. That someone? Jay-Z. During a recent interview, 50 revealed that Jay allegedly used his influence as the NFL's live music strategist to quietly push him off the lineup. The excuse? The league supposedly had issues with 50, but 50 wasn't buying it. He had just become a partner in an NFL team. If they had no problem doing business with him behind closed doors, why would they suddenly have a problem putting him on stage? Then came the real twist. Eminem reportedly stepped in and made it clear to the NFL, no 50, no Slim Shady. That one demand may have forced the league's hand, and just like that, 50 Cent was back on the set list, upside down and center stage. But the moment wasn't just a victory, it exposed something deeper. 50 Cent called it out plainly. Jay-Z wasn't competing with him musically. He didn't have an album out. He wasn't fighting for chart space, yet he still tried to block 50's appearance. That, 50 says, isn't just industry politics. It's personal and Eminem. He didn't hesitate to back 50. He's been in the game long enough to know when power is being used to keep people out. In his view, this wasn't just a performance. It was a power move meant to remind everyone who really runs things. The fact that it took Eminem's intervention to keep 50 in the show says a lot, and it raises the question, if this is how far Jay-Z is willing to go for something as public as a Super Bowl show, what's happening behind closed doors? If there's one place where the Carters shine brightest, it's award season. Between Jay-Z and Beyoncé, they've collected dozens of Grammys. But according to 50 Cent and Eminem, that success didn't come without strings, and maybe not even from the music itself. 50 Cent has gone on record calling the Grammys a rigged system. He says it's not about talent, streams, or impact. It's about relationships, specifically Jay-Z's relationship with Beyoncé. In 50's words, the Recording Academy knows exactly what it's doing. If Jay and Bey show up, the cameras flash, the ratings go up, and the show trends worldwide. So to keep that power couple in the building, just hand them the trophies, and the numbers don't lie. Since Jay-Z married Beyoncé, his Grammy count skyrocketed. Before the marriage, a few trophies. After, nearly 20. 50 joked that even their kids probably have Grammys, and they don't even make music. But the real frustration isn't about who wins. It's about how the industry uses artists like bait. Eminem has been saying it for years. The Grammys hype him up in promos, drop his name in headlines, and make it seem like he has a shot. Then when the lights come on, nothing. No win, no recognition, just silence. He once said, "Don't ask me to come to the Grammys ever again. My answer is no." for 100 million years. And it wasn't because he lost. Eminem made it clear, if he lost to someone like Kanye, someone he respects, he'd accept it. But being brought in to boost ratings, only to get ignored, that's where he drew the line. Then there was Beyoncé's controversial Album of the Year win for Cowboy Carter. Fans were split. Some believed she earned it. Others said it felt convenient, especially after Jay-Z went on stage at the previous year's Grammys to blast the Recording Academy for snubbing his wife. 1 year later, she gets the biggest award in the business. It didn't sit right with a lot of people, and it added fuel to a growing theory that awards in the music industry aren't about merit. They're about who you're connected to and what power you bring into the room. While 50 Cent and Eminem are exposing the games played at the top, a growing number of female artists are speaking out about what they believe is happening behind the scenes. And many of those stories point to one name, Beyoncé. Over the years, several talented women have seen their careers stall or vanish after crossing paths with Queen Bey. Coincidence? Some fans don't think so. Take Carrie Hilson. She was on the rise with charting singles and a strong fan base. Then, rumors began to swirl about a diss track aimed at Beyoncé. Carrie later claimed she was tricked into recording the song and never meant for it to be a shot. But the damage was done. She refused to hold a magazine cover featuring Jay-Z and Beyoncé, and the backlash was instant. The Beehive swarmed, her image tanked, and just like that, her momentum disappeared. Then, there's a Mary. She had a hit with One Thing, produced by Rich Harrison, the same producer behind Beyoncé's Crazy in Love. Not long after One Thing dropped, Beyoncé allegedly pulled Harrison onto her team. The result? Beyoncé got another hit, and a Mary's sound, once seen as fresh and innovative, was suddenly less unique. Her rise slowed, her spotlight faded. Kellis tells a similar story. Her iconic hit Milkshake was sampled on Beyoncé's album without her permission. She says she wasn't even notified. She found out the same way the fans did, online. No phone call, no credit, no courtesy. When she spoke up, she wasn't met with an apology, just silence. The sample was eventually removed, but the message was clear. Speak out and you'll be ignored, or worse, erased. Maya, another respected artist, has spoken about being blackballed after turning down inappropriate industry offers. While she didn't name names, many believe her story lines up with other whispers surrounding Jay-Z's alleged behavior. Mia said rejecting certain people came with a cost, and that cost was her career. Even Mary J. Blige and Aaliyah's names have been mentioned in fan conversations. Both women were dominant forces in R&B. Then, for different reasons, their runs were cut short. Some believe it was just the nature of the business. Others suspect there was more at play. And these stories aren't coming from unknown sources. They're coming from respected artists, insiders, and former collaborators. Artists who've all hinted that success in the industry isn't just about talent. It's about staying on the right side of the people in power. And for many women, staying on the wrong side of Beyoncé came with consequences. While many focus on how Beyoncé allegedly sidelined female artists, some of the biggest names in hip-hop believe Jay-Z's playbook is even more ruthless and more calculated. Let's start with DMX. One of Def Jam's top-selling artists, he carried the label with 5 back-to-back #1 albums. But when Jay-Z became president of Def Jam in 2004, things changed fast. X claimed Jay purposely delayed his 6th album to clear the way for his own comeback. Jay had retired, but suddenly returned, right as X's project was scheduled to drop. DMX called it what it was, sabotage. Then there's Beanie Siegel, who was signed to Rockefeller and loyal to Jay. But time after time, Beanie noticed something strange. Every time he dropped an album, Jay would drop one too, stealing the spotlight. Didn't feel like friendly competition. It felt like a ceiling was being placed above him. And Beanie wasn't alone in that feeling. 50 Cent says the same thing. He believes Jay is obsessed with staying in control, not just of his brand, but of the entire industry. That includes who gets to shine and who gets shut out. And when he couldn't keep 50 off the Super Bowl stage, that power dynamic started to crack. But things get darker when we talk about those who never got the chance to speak out. Big L was a lyrical legend in Harlem, praised for his freestyles and street buzz. He helped introduce Jay-Z to the scene. But just as Big L was getting ready to take off, he was killed in a drive-by shooting. The case remains unsolved. To this day, some, including singer Jaguar Wright, believe there's more to the story. And while there's no proof tying Jay-Z to the tragedy, the timing has fueled years of suspicion. And then there's Uncle Ron, Beyoncé's former bodyguard. Before his passing, he made claims that shocked the internet. He said he had first-hand knowledge of how Jay and Beyoncé allegedly destroyed careers to stay on top. He even mentioned specific artists like Carrie Hilson, whose careers he said were deliberately sabotaged. Days later, Uncle Ron passed away from pneumonia. That might have been coincidence, but fans took notice. So what's really holding this empire together? According to 50 Cent, and it's not just business, it's the marriage. He flat out called Jay and Beyoncé's relationship a contract, a strategic alliance designed to maximize fame, power, and awards. 50 says Jay didn't start racking up Grammys until after he married Beyoncé. Once they became a unit, everything changed. Deals, endorsements, image. Even their public persona shifted from edgy artists to a power couple with untouchable status. And maybe that's the secret. Control the narrative, win the trophies, and stay in the spotlight at any cost. Over the years, Jay-Z and Beyoncé have crafted the image of perfection. Power couple, cultural leaders, business icons. But the more people speak out, the more that image starts to look like a well-polished cover for something else entirely. We've now heard stories from nearly every corner of the industry: rappers, singers, producers, even bodyguards. And the pattern is hard to ignore. Talented artists rise, then disappear. Careers with momentum get cut short, controversies surface, and the same names keep coming up. Jay-Z, Beyoncé, again and again. Maybe it's all coincidence. Maybe being at the top just comes with enemies and rumors. That's the easy answer. But when people like DMX, Beanie Sigel, 50 Cent, Kellis, Carrie Hilson, and Jaguar Wright all share similar stories, blocked albums, stolen credits, vanished support, it forces you to look a little closer, especially when artists like Eminem, someone who's never been afraid to speak truth to power, starts echoing those same concerns. At some point, the silence becomes complicity, and silence is exactly what the Carters are offering. No denials, no clarifications, just polished photos, curated interviews, and award show appearances. Which begs the question, if they've done nothing wrong, well, why not speak up? What 50 Cent and Eminem are doing now isn't just throwing shade. It's exposing a system that rewards loyalty, punishes truth-telling, and protects power above everything else. A system where success can be manipulated and competition can be erased without a trace. And as more voices come forward, the story only grows. What was once whispered behind the scenes is now out in the open, and fans are listening. So are Jay-Z and Beyoncé truly victims of jealousy and slander? Or have they quietly been running the game from behind the curtain, ensuring they remain untouchable? The truth might be somewhere in between. But one thing is clear. The image of the perfect power couple is cracking, and people are finally starting to ask the right questions, because when the same names keep rising, while everyone else disappears, maybe it's not luck, maybe it's not timing, maybe it's control.